Beady, the pie is done. Pie is done. Pie is done. Pie is done. Good morning. All right. Wild Goose Chase. Doom, 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 doom. We got some problems this morning. I don't know. The CPU is doing something weird. Boom, 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 boom. This morning. Sing along as you will, church. Still post Wild Goose Chase. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Talk of destruction, of creation, on high pitch, nuclear power and radiation. Lord have mercy. Something about judgment and dropping neutron bombs. Wasn't yesterday the anniversary of us blowing up somebody with a nuclear weapon? Was that last week? Good morning, everybody. Deception. Legal murder called abortion. I'm sorry. I'll be honest with you. I don't care what y'all do, but I'm gonna call it how I see it. Legal murder called abortion. Robots is here, but it's your right to choose. It's not my. I have nothing to do with that conversation. Wild Goose Chase. Bro gone crazy. Mass producing test tube babies. The world gone crazy. Mass producing test tube babies. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about wild goose chases. Laws of nature you just can't erase. Who shall save the you-man race? Who shall save the you-woman race? Who shall save the you-man race? Who shall say? You better not say Q. Don't even start with me this morning. What's wrong with people? I actually got the lyrics. I'm not looking at them. Chemicals in the food, so everybody getting the cuckoo flu. Scared of 99% survival rate flu, while you got cardiovascular disease, cancer, leukemia, autism, ALS, all the real pandemics that need resources, but y'all talking about another shutdown? Shutdown supremacy. Stop it. You shutdown privilege people, stop it. Cut it out. Cut it out. I tell you. Wild going crazy. What? The world going crazy. Mass producing, testing. Shut up, Dreyer. The world going crazy. I said, wild goose chase. You ain't never gonna catch that wild goose. Herbivores for most of our evolution. You ain't gonna catch no wild goose. You don't want to chase the wild goose anyway. Self-destruction. What's wrong with people? Don't they know them suffering? Wild goose chase, wild goose chase, wild goose chase. Let me put my title on YouTube, don't get started. We used to beatbox all the time. Is beatboxing illegal? That's a good question. We used to do that on the playground all the damn time. We used to beatbox, just spit, just virus particles and biology just everywhere. And the more you get into it, that's how you knew it was good, because like the people with the big lips could really. I was great at it. I was great at it. Jah must be the righteous ones. All right, I'm done. Wild goose chase. I'm gonna put the title on YouTube. Nature you just can't erase. Laws of nature you just can't erase. Who shall save the you-man race? Who shall save the you-man race? Who shall save the you-woman race? Who gonna save you? Hey, you know what? I asked a question this morning. I'm stopping. Ooh, that's a great song from their Earth Crisis album. Steel Pulse. Wild Goose Chasing. That's it. Here we go. We gotta stop chasing a wild goose. Oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff we can talk about today. I'm not even sure where to start. Yeah, you say that every day. I know. There's just so much going on right now. Wild Goose Chase. Let me change the music. Come on, everybody. How y'all doing this morning? Don't chase no wild goose. Don't chase no wild herring. You ain't never gonna catch the goose. It was designed this way. They colonized the world and they gave you a goose to chase. You ain't never gonna catch that goose. You can run all you want. See this fool right here? He running after the goose. Yes, I am talking about the economy. You ain't never gonna catch that goose. Because like Bob Marley said, they made the world so hard. You will never catch that goose. Just ain't gonna happen. I gotta get ready. That you ain't gonna catch the goose. Don't chase the goose because you a human. You can barely catch lunch. No, they're catching lunch. They won't catch the goose. What am I doing? Change the music, and we'll start a discussion. Although I do want to share something. There's YouTube, it's saved over here. Come on, how y'all doing this morning? Apocalypse. Everybody ready for wave 2? Shutdown 2? More of the people with the privileges to shut down, ignoring the people who don't have shutdown privilege. Yeah, we might have to talk about shutdown supremacy a little bit. I'm a little tired of it. Got a lot of people starving. All right. Got a lot of other diseases that need to see the doctor, not just you and your fear because you're in your house scared of the food. Listen to this one. Right. Biggest secret in the world. Who is this? Earl Nightingale. Who is Earl Nightingale? I don't even know him. Check this out.
I'd like to tell you about the strangest secret in the world. Some years ago, the late Nobel Prize-winning Dr. Albert Schweitzer was being interviewed in London, and a reporter asked him, "Doctor, what's wrong with men today?" And the great doctor was silent a moment, and then he said, "Men simply don't think." It's about this that I want to talk with you. We live today in a golden age. This is an era that man has looked forward to, dreamed of, and worked toward. For it's here, we pretty well take it for granted, unity for everyone. But do you know what happens? Well, let's take 100 men who start even at the age of 25. Do you have any idea what will happen to those men by the time they're 65? These 100 men who all start even at the age of 25 believe they're going to be successful. If you ask any one of these men if he wanted to be a success, he'd tell you he did. And you'd notice that he was eager toward life, that there was a certain sparkle to his eye, an erectness to his carriage, and life seemed like a pretty interesting adventure to him. But by the time they're 65, 1 will be rich. 4 will be financially independent. 5 will still be working. 54 will be broke. Now think a moment. Out of the 100, only 5 make the grade. Now why do so many fail? What has happened to the sparkle that was there when they were 25? What's become of the dreams, the hopes, the plans? And why is there such a large disparity between what these men intended to do and what they actually accomplished? When we say about 5% achieve success, we have to define success. And here's the best definition I've ever been able to find. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. If a man is working toward a predetermined goal and knows where he's going, that man is a success. If he's not doing that, he's a failure. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Rollo May, the distinguished psychiatrist, wrote a wonderful book called Man's Search for Himself. And in this book he says, the opposite of courage in our society is not cowardice. It is conformity. And there you have the trouble today. It's conformity, people acting like everyone else without knowing why, without knowing where they're going. Now think of it. In America right now, there are over 18 million people 65 years of age and older. And most of them are broke. They're dependent on someone else for life's necessities. Now we learn to read.
And you know I'm not going to let that slip, right? No way will I gonna let that. I was kind of half listening to this. He's an old dude. He's probably dead. Is he dead? Who's this? Earl Nightingale? I don't even know if he dead, but old people say smart things. He probably dead in the grave. But I was driving in slavery this morning, looking at everybody driving in these masks, which once again, I don't care if you wear the mask. I'm 100% in support of you wearing your mask. You can do anything you damn want to. I wish you wear Elmo costumes, okay? But the force is the problem, forcing other people. This man said this. He said the opposite of courage isn't cowardice, but conformity. That kind of blew me back. That blew me back. What's his name? Ralph Smart? Slade, fade to the left. Breathe in that prana, baby. Breathe in the truth from wherever it comes from. Is that my brother Juan? Oh, that's my brother Juan. Juan Wade is in the house. That's the brother I was telling y'all about yesterday. Juan, I don't know you who paint. We need to have a conversation. This is a man talking some real talk. I like people who talk real talk. I ain't got time for fake talk. I ain't got time for funk. We ain't got time for that. We got real problems ahead. Okay, real problems ahead. We need to act like we're real people. Y'all follow that brother? You should. He's on it. He was on Melody's show the other day. So the opposite of courage isn't cowardice, but conformity. In an ecosystem called a society, right? In an economy on a colonized planet. I always talk about decolonizing, right? Because we got to decolonize. Before you get ahead of yourself, yes, we need to stop the white people. That's not the colonizing. We were colonized by an idea, all right? All the colonizers long dead. All right, we need to fight that system. We actually need to fight the power and stop fighting the people. People don't exist, only persons, all right? The world has no hard problems. There are no hard problems in this world. We were colonized. Our cultures were destroyed. It's like, oh, here's an example. I was listening to permaculture this morning, a lady from India. TED Talks, I won't ever post it. I don't never post no TED Talks because they got a copyright issue. They think that they got secrets and they allowed to keep secrets. Information is supposed to always be free. Just a reminder, you don't ever have to ask me to take one of my quotes, put any damn where you want to. I don't give a damn where you put it. Just make sure it does some good. Decolonize. But when you say decolonize, people get this image in their head of who's supposed to be where, who's supposed to, because they look like this and that, they own this land, this, that, these people gotta go, these people stay, blah, 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 blah. And I don't play that game. I don't have time for that. You know, people are born in an ecosystem. Child is born with no state of mind. That child is born blind to the ways of mankind. Don't quote me on that one. I stole that one. Was that Grandmaster Flash? I don't know. Children are born in an ecosystem and you can't kick them out, right? You're born around a bunch of people. We need to decolonize. They basically destroyed the entire world, from Britain to Ireland to Italy to the Middle East to North America to Australia, and they killed everybody to steal their land. So first of all, the way I fight battles, I look at the principles, right? I did the whole principle. How do you fight an invisible enemy? You always defy it what it wants, because you're never gonna find it. You don't never know who the boss of the boss of the boss. You never know who's calling the shots. They want the land, they took the land, we need to take the land back. But the other thing they did, two things. They stole all the land, we need to steal all the land back equally, with all the inhabitants on the land right now. It's what everybody wants. Everybody wants to be left alone on their own land. So we need to get that land back, that's number one. Two, you gotta get your culture back. The reason they did what they did because we had permanent cultures all over the planet. All over the planet. Barbarians, everybody had a permanent culture. Why? Because the world worked when we were that way. And they needed to roll out a controlled world, a unpermanent culture, to take everything and destroy your knowledge of how to have a permanent culture. And so they give us this idea, oh, but there's no such thing as a utopia, and that's just hippie talk and no panties. And there's no utopia, I agree with that. But it's a cop-out to say that we didn't come from more evolved permanent cultures before we were given this banking, colonizer, wild goose chase culture of conformity. You see how all this fits together? You see how all this fits, and I don't even fit it together. I just get up in the morning, drink some coffee. I get up in the morning, drink some coffee. AI shows me some videos to listen to. Y'all send me stuff, you know, but we are on a wild goose chase. You'll never win. You'll never win. There's no such thing as winning in Monopoly. The bank wins every damn time. And this is what they gave you. They gave you a permanent culture of failure. And that's why we fail. And this is how I'm feeling right now. I keep getting this damn call from Indiana. I don't even know who that is. It's a call center. So he said a whole bunch of deep things here. I'm gonna let him talk for a few more minutes and we're gonna talk about the wild goose chase. You don't know, I got another example I'll show you real quick. Don't ever wanna chase the wild goose. Don't ever chase the goose. You ain't never gonna catch the goose. It was designed that way. Like Bob Marley said, they made the world hard for a reason so you won't never, ever be free. Don't ever chase the goose. Don't ever chase the goose. This brought me back to an example from childhood. Don't ever chase, especially especially if Goose died. Don't ever chase Goose if Goose died. Y'all remember Top Gun? I ask people what do they think is going to end the world? What is the greatest threat to mankind and womankind? Well, you know what? I asked that another one. What is the greatest threat to our species? And what is the greatest threat to all Earth life? And is it the same thing? That's something to think about. If we always die or get blown back population-wise by asteroids, pole shifts, tsunamis, who knows what it is, something is always trying to kill us. Water, rise in water, change in climates. If you die and you went that path, why would you go that path again? Why would you follow that goose? Why would you get on another wild goose chase when you know creating a conflict-based world always ends in that world eradicating you? So that's one thing, that unity. But let's let him keep going.
By the time we're 7, we learn to make a living. By the time we're 25, usually by that time, we're not only making a living, we're supporting a family. And yet by the time we're 65, we haven't learned how to become financially independent in the richest land that has ever been known. Why? We conform. And the trouble is that we're acting like the wrong percentage group, the 95 who don't succeed. Now, why do these people conform? Well, they really don't know. These people believe that their lives are shaped by circumstances, by things that happen to them, by exterior forces. They're outer-directed people. A survey was made one time that covered a lot of men, working men, and these men were asked, why do you work? Why do you get up in the morning? 19 out of 20 had no idea. If you ask them, they'll say, well, everyone goes to work in the morning, and that's the reason they do it, because everyone else is doing it.
Everyone else is doing it. Why do you get up in the morning? I can answer that question. Why do I get up in the morning? I'm a father. I'm an uncle. I'm a neighbor. I'm a cousin. And I got 7 billion people all over this family that's depending on me to be the best person that I can be, to do something on this planet that's conscious. For me to discover consciousness, to know that, to me, there's no really good conversation unless it's a conscious one, right? We got universal decisions. We have universal solutions we can roll out. We just don't roll them out, and we don't think of them because we're always in these little tribal groups and we think of things in very small-minded silo ways. I get up in the morning because I got a job to do, and it damn sure ain't the slavery job. I do the slavery job because that's what I have to. I do the slavery job for this conformity-based system, this economy, this colonized world that we don't ever win, this monopoly game that the banks win every damn game, because that's the only way I can eat. Only way I can eat. And this ties in with what Brother Juan was saying in his interview with Melody. They were going back and forth on this, which was a great discussion. I told you, I hope y'all listened to it. We need to take the land back. Brother Juan's a little bit of a thug, a little gangster. He said, no, we just need to go out and get that land. There's land right out there. We can go in. We just go out there and get there. I was driving, almost crashed. I was laughing so hard. No, it's land out there. We just need to go out there and get it. You need to find you some people, get together, get that land, and go ahead and make a sustainable permaculture community where you're not dependent on chemicals and drugs and things that give you cancer. Like another post I was making this morning, I was thinking about, it's just like, if you don't have a strong microbiome, you're pretty much useless in where this is all going, right? People who have weak microbiomes, ill people who need big pharmaceutical, corrupt corporations who behind a lot of this stuff that's happening today, they're never going to defy them. They're never going to defy them. If you are not strong, you will not defy the strong being weak. If you need their drugs, you need the headache medicine, you need the creams, and still out that store buying all that crap they have. You're just sitting at home waiting for them to cure you like there's something wrong with you, conforming everywhere you can. Why do I get up in the morning? I get up in the morning because we need a better planet. We need a sustainable planet. We need to become a one race again, a human race. You know, there's a whole lot out there in space that we don't know nothing about. Damn, there's a whole lot in the ocean we don't even know about. It's a whole lot in the ground. They say we know more about the surface of the moon of what's in the ocean or the microbiology in the ground. Work on that microbiome. You will never get people defying the corrupt crony pharmaceutical industry who need the pharmaceutical industry to get up in the morning.
Now let's get back to our definition of success. Who succeeds? The only person who succeeds is the person who is progressively realizing a worthy ideal. He's the person who says, I'm going to become this, and then begins to work toward that goal. I'll tell you who the successful people are. A success is the school teacher who's teaching school because that's what he or she wants to do. The success is the woman who's a wife and mother because she wanted to become a wife and mother and is doing a good job of it. The success is the man who runs the corner gas station because that was his dream. That's what he wanted to do. The success is the successful salesman who wants to become a top-notch salesman and grow and build with his organization. A success is anyone who is doing deliberately a predetermined job because that's what he decided to do deliberately. But only 1 out of 20 does that. That's why today there isn't really any competition unless we make it for ourselves. Instead of competing, all we have to do is create. You know, for 20 years I looked for the key which would determine what...
Create. Couple things there. So worthy, right? What is a worthy goal? What is worthy of you being on this planet, dealing with all the crap that you've dealt with since your birth? I know a lot of people that went through hell, high water, logs being thrown at them, fists, boots, penises. I know people that had a whole bunch of stuff thrown at them. You went through all of that high water for what? For what? Why are you still here? Why are you still getting up in the morning? What is worthy? And people get upset when I say it, and I really don't care, but worthy is not helping black people. Worthy is not helping white people. Worthy is not helping American people. Worthy is not helping Australian people. Worthy is doing something conscious that's all-encompassing. All-encompassing. You are a conscious creature. You're not a black creature. You're not a white creature. You're not a gay creature. You're not a straight creature. You are a conscious being on this planet that needs to rediscover consciousness. Otherwise, your mind will never proliferate in the realms of anything that's worthy. Step 1 is consciousness. Step 2 is what is worthy of your time on this planet? What is worthy of all the crap sandwiches you've dealt with? I had to skip ahead. It's a long talk. He said something around 7 minutes and then
without them fail. Well, let me tell you something which, if you really understand it, will alter your life immediately. If you understand completely what I'm going to tell you from this moment on, your life will never be the same again. You will suddenly find that good luck just seems to be attracted to you. The things you want just seem to fall in line, and from now on you won't have the problems, the worries, the gnawing lump of anxiety that perhaps you've experienced before. Doubt, fear, well, they'll be things of the past. Here's the key to success and the key to failure. We become what we think about. Now let me say that again. We become what we think about. Throughout all history, the great wise men and teachers, philosophers and prophets have disagreed with one another on many different things. It's only on this one point that they are in complete and unanimous agreement. Listen to what Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, said. A man's life is what his thoughts make of it. Disraeli said this: everything comes if a man will only wait. I've brought myself by long meditation to the conviction that a human being with a settled purpose must accomplish it, and that nothing can resist a will that will stake even existence for its fulfillment.
And you can say that a couple ways, right? We become what we think about. We manifest what we ponder. We become the friends. We become our friends. We become the people we hang around the most. We are what we eat. Is that not true as well? We are what we eat. So what do you think about? Who do you hang around? What are you manifesting? You know, people still think, yeah, you're crazy when you say you're gods and goddesses. You are gods and goddesses, just outside of the whole deep stuff I don't know anything about, but I sat and watched Harsh yesterday talk about 3D holographic DNA, and I was just clueless because a lot of this is new to me. I'm just still trying to learn. But you are the hero of your own story. The shame is you're actually the hero of your children's story, You're the hero of your nieces and nephews' story. You're the hero, hopefully you're the hero of their story anyway. You might be the villain. You might actually be the villain. You're the hero of the next generation story. That came from the Umbrella Academy. That's what it was. The Umbrella Academy. There's so much in non-news television. There's so much in just stories and movies, and it was just a deep talk. And he was a hero. These are heroes, you know, superhero type stuff. And he was a time traveler. And I forgot who he was. And he basically said, everybody is a time traveler. Everybody is a hero to the next generation. Every decision you make, it affects millions, if not billions of people. What job you go into, what you do, your lineage, and what you leave here, whether it's conscious or low vibrational, dark subhuman groupish.
Ralph Waldo Emerson said this: "A man is what he thinks about all day long." William James said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind." And he also said, "We need only in cold blood act as if the thing in question were real, and it will become infallibly real by growing into such a connection with our life that it will become real. It will become so knit with habit and emotion that our interest in it will be those which characterize belief." And he also said, "If you only care enough for a result, you will almost certainly attain it. If you wish to be rich, you will be rich. If you wish to be learned, you will be learned. If you wish to be good, you will be good. Only you must then really wish these things, and wish them exclusively, and not wish at the same time 100 other incompatible things just as strongly."
All right, a couple other things hit me with that, and I'm gonna do comments, and we'll keep going from there. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. It's a fantastic talk. I don't agree with all of it, but it's a fantastic talk. So you become what you think about the most. I told y'all how I grew up on hip hop music. I grew up on rap and rock. Because I had just different types of friends, and I had no interest. I just liked music. What happens to you? What do you manifest if all your music is about smacking women in their booties and carrying guns in the neighborhood and dealing drugs, or Hell's Bells and satanic stuff? Like, just think about it. Just process these things. Remember, I don't tell you what to think. I don't tell you what you do, what you want to do. I'm just telling you where my mind is at. And this is why I don't listen to hip hop. This is why I don't listen to rap. I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. I'm just saying, think about your child looking at you from the baby seat, you playing what you're playing, and how much you like it. And that child saying, well, mommy likes it. Damn it, it's got to be good. I'm going to listen to this dark energy, low vibe, vibrational, whatever's going on about letting a man smack me in my butt and treat me like I'm all right. So I'm not even gonna go down that road, because y'all know me. Not many things trigger me, some, you know, but I won't go down that road. Just think about it. Think about it. That seat in the back, where my kids used to hit me in the head was I'm single pop, man. I said, them kids always, it was Elmo and little squeaky toys or something. I got hit by a hamburger once. I got hit by a McDonald's cheeseburger. I think that my son realized that, Daddy, I ain't supposed to eat this crap. Hit me in the back of the head. All right, I'm gonna read comments. We'll go on from there. There's a couple things I want to touch that. I only want to touch a piece of that. I also want to hit John Pilger. He had a good. Well, you know what? I'm lying. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I don't even know if it was a good. I don't know if it was good. I didn't listen to it yet. I didn't listen to John Pilger yet. But I almost said, I said, oh, he had a good talk. And I stopped. I listened to the first 30 seconds. John Pilger always has something deep to say, so I want to listen to what John Pilger had to say on the cuckoo virus. If you didn't catch the earlier statement I made, I need to say it once again. Stop with shutdown supremacy. You need to stop it. You need to let this go. You need to let this project go. You're scared to go outside, don't go outside. We already killed 1 million people, they say, around this planet with the first shutdown. We already know that this thing has a 99% survival rate. It's time to let the strong people in the herd do what the strong people in the herd are supposed to do. All right. I consider myself one of those people. Unless it's some zombies, an angry woman, Let me see, what else am I scared of? Maybe a grizzly bear. I don't know. Angry woman, grizzly bear. That's difficult. I don't. It depends if she got a pocketbook. Not a purse, pocketbook. Well, they had them pocketbooks, right? And they have a bunch of stuff in there. They should leave it home. They're heavy as hell. They hit you. So but seriously. I got a strong microbiome. It's not because I'm smart, because I probably messed up and listened to the wrong people. I got in the wrong water in the swamp playing as a kid behind my grandfather's house. But I got a strong microbiome. Very few things probably can get me sick. I don't think there's anything out there that can get me, to be honest with you. But here's the point. We are in a colonized world. We got these economies. I don't think money should exist. That's my position. However, there's no reason for it to exist anymore. We can take care of everybody. We're just choosing not to. Not socialism, communism, nor capitalism, but just robotism, automationism, which is my background. But right now, we are where we are. We are where we are. We got people who are starving. We have people who were starving before the first shutdown. Before the first privileged people who can shut down stood up and said, we need to shut down because I'm scared. I'm fine with you if you got a weakened immune system. Those are the people who need to be right here. Right? Level 3 bioweapon suit, like right here. This is a discussion I end up getting in so much now, and I don't even know why. I don't understand why people won't just go to OSHA's damn website and look at the facts, right? They regulated this for a reason. If you got COPD, you got lung disease, you're elderly, you got immune challenges, you should not be going out no damn house where if you look at hashtag film my hospital, if that hospital is on that hashtag, and you see what's happening for the people who live locally, and you see it's overrun or it's not overrun, if it's overrun, you need to stay in the damn house. That's number one. Two, we need to be honest with people, right? I think that they're covering up a lot of stuff. Well, it's not even what I think. Nah, Judy Miscavige said that. Said they're covering up a lot of stuff that we really can't even talk about much anymore. Don't ever take your privilege and abuse other people with it. Don't ever do that. We talk about privilege a lot. And of course, people get over into the race privilege. I really don't touch that. I have experienced race privilege. I've gotten jobs with my skin. I've gotten positions in the church with my skin. I've done a lot of things with my skin. But I never use it to abuse other people. I've gotten jobs with my ability to program because I had a good father who stayed at home. Most of my friends didn't. I had a good mother. A lot of my friends didn't. I take parent privilege and I don't abuse people with it. I do everything I can to help anybody that I can. I got land privilege right now. I got a friend that's got a whole lot of land and I'm growing as much food as I can because I have the privilege of knowing how to grow food. But I will never use my privilege to abuse people. I never do that. To me, that's dark, low vibe. So I don't tell other people what their privilege is because I've never walked in any other people's shoes. And I don't really care what their privilege is. I'm trying to resonate and vibrate at a high level of what I can do for other people. If you got shutdown privilege, you need to think about that. You need to think about that. We don't need to do another one. We don't need it. What we need to do is if the politicians are scared with some other people, then they need to stay in the damn house. Strong, healthy people need to go out there because we got people who need to eat and we need to feed those people. We still got these things called economies I do not agree with at all. Capitalism, communism, nor socialism, because we don't come from the people who got the most jewels. The people with the most jewels run the world. You will never know who they are. You will never meet them. They'll never be on television. But they will tell all your world governments what to do. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. Never use your privilege and supremacy to abuse people. People in ghettos and trailer parks and rural areas ain't got nothing. Wonder where the next meal gonna come from. I tell you where it's gonna come from. It's gonna come from you. Because how long do you think people are gonna sit in their house and starve? You think they're gonna do this for another 6 months? No, not with food in your house, not with food in your cup. Well, I got a gun. Okay, so how long are you gonna live? You have to shoot somebody who comes in your house for beans. Is that like a life you want to live? I know we got a lot of tough people here. Yeah, I got guns. Go to the gun range. Gerard, well, why you say you go to the gun range? Because I need to go to the gun range. Do I want to use the abilities that I have to use an assault rifle against a human being? Hell no. Hell no. Like I asked that question before. You know, a lot of my survivalist friends, yo, we locked and loaded, man. We ready to go for whatever's coming. Okay, I get that. I get that. You know history. You understand what the Second Amendment is for. It ain't for no damn hunting no deer. It's for hunting the predators who actually run this world, the ones who fall in the lineage of those who colonized every damn thing. 13 families, those that have that wealth. It's for maintaining your freedom. But you got to stop and ask yourself the question, when bad times come, like in the Great Depression, you didn't have mobs of people on the street like, what's the name of that movie? Mad Max? It wasn't like that. You didn't have gangs of people coming to your house with cars and ooh, goodness gracious, women in tight leather straps. Ooh, oh. It was not like that at all. No. You had families. And that's what this one's going to be like. That's Hollywood. Have fun with that. But then think about reality. It's going to be families with kids. It'll be groups of kids. Who sacrifices themselves for the kids is the older generations. So you have a lot of kids roaming the streets looking for food. How long will you make it knowing that you've shot 50 kids who came to your door for food? Because you know they're going to steal it. You go to sleep. That's what kids are supposed to do. They're supposed to steal from you. You go to sleep, they're going to be in your garden stealing. They're going to climb through your window and steal. Why? Because anybody will do anything for food. So this is about what world do you want to live in, right? You're on a wild goose chase, and they did that intentionally. You got to build up your microbiome, or you're going to go for whatever this pharmaceutical industry wants. And we know what they want. We know what they want. Right? If you're playing mask everybody, if you're playing mask yourself, I'm on your side. I got your back. It is your right to do that. But if you're playing, we need to mask everybody else to save me and protect grandma and all this nonsense that they come up with, all this unscientific bullshit that they just pulled out of somebody's anus because it's every 2 years that Big Pharma pulls this with lobbyists. Learn how to shoot. That's the world you're gonna have. That's the world you're gonna have. I sound like Brother Mark. Brother Mark is here. I sound like Brother John, Brother Mark. Don't be on a wild goose chase for 0.01% that ain't ever give a damn about you or grandma. The person you need to stand with is with your neighbors. You need to build a local community and prepare for what's coming. Now I'm interested in Pilger. I know I said I was going to do comments, and then I want to see what Pilger has to say about this, because I like John. I don't trust John. I don't trust anybody, but I like John because most of what he said that I've heard, he had no filters on, right? Like he told things how historically made sense to me, how the censored information I would see before they censor it, how that made sense. He tells the story mostly from a non-national, which nations don't even exist anymore. You just got corporations that own interest in the land that you live in while you pretend you got a government, but it's a governing corporation that they own or they work with for profit, B2B. That's the real world we live in. But I've never heard anything from him that was bullshit. So we're gonna listen to him in a minute. First, I'll do comments because I think I missed a whole lot. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. What you feed your mind is just as important as what you feed your body. It is, Christ, and that's when we need to be of sound mind and body. Ooh, there's something to that saying, possibly. Think about love. Absolutely, Lord. If you resonate in love, then that's what you're going to manifest all around you. That is not a cliche. That is just reality. When you start talking about quantum physics, that's science, not that bullshit on T. Science. Bill Nye, the science guy. I'm eating your guys' words. ATM, lots of laughter. Man shall not live by bread alone. No, Tommy, man cannot live by bread alone. Man lives by food grown by strong people, ain't scared of no damn flu, out there working, making something, and holding together the last little few straps of this nation that's about to fall apart. We're all on our own hero's journey. That's what life is. It is, Christ, but people got to decide, right? Whether or not they want to be a hero or a villain to the next generation. Did you just assume one's gender? No, both fine. I did not. I don't even think gender exists. You know me. That's my. I don't even care. Like it's not. To me, it just doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter. I was talking to a sister yesterday. She was very upset about everything that's going on. And she was saying, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. To me, there are a lot of things that just don't matter in the grand scheme of things, right? You know, what my color is, what my preference is, where I live, none of that matters, not to the human race. Not when you think about what is the greatest threat to our species and what are the greatest threats to all Earth life. Like, we're not in times of ignorance where we need to talk about little things. I think we need to talk about the big things. So, I'm the marshmallow woman, so you're getting close. Brittany, I don't even know what you're talking about. Good morning, Brother Jason. Good morning, Riley. Believe you already have it. I think, I'm not sure, Riley, where you're going on that, but I'm kind of old. I'm behind in comments. Anytime you make any sort of decision, you are shifting into another reality. And I think that's true, Lynn. Lynn Mary, that reminds me of string theory, right? Multiverse, multiple dimensions. You make decisions, you change your path, and things get rewritten in ways that we really don't understand. But you go down another path to choose your own adventure. And there are studies behind that. But I think that what you think about, you will manifest in that sort of way, perhaps, or in another way. It doesn't really matter. The thing is, if you resonate in hate, you're going to be in hate. If you're in a hate group, you're going to manifest more hate, and more hate is going to come to you. If you're putting love out into the ethos in the universe, then love's going to come back to you. So you got. I'm not going to read that. Hang on. I want to get to John Pilger. Let me do a couple comments before we get there first. Sometimes my friends get a little weird in the morning. Something in the water in some of these places. I don't hang around too many people, but a spider just dropped down from the ceiling right next to me. He's in a jar now, ready to be put outside. Okay, see, there you go. That's that hippie stuff. There you go. And that's part of it too. You know, resonate. Don't kill anything you don't actually have to kill. Because that's where Sister Citizen Deb is at. I'm not there. I'm not there. Spiders, y'all don't do too good with me. I'm working. I get there. I've taken bees out and hornets. I had a hornet's nest. I capture them things and release them. Try to release that love and energy. Mosquitoes, spiders, yeah. I'm working on me. You work on you. I work on me. That's how this works. You don't abuse other people. You can't and you know, I'm gonna go back to where I don't know why I'm still in these conversations. If you have to abuse other people, nobody should be following you. You should never follow anybody who's abusing other people. You know, folks who got mad, who don't want to wear masks, yeah, you know, they're upset. They are upset. And yes, y'all upset with me. I post a lot on it. It's annoying. Why? Because oxygen is mine. I have a right to breathe it. You don't have a right to take that from me, right? My body's trying to expel bacteria and funguses and things it's not supposed to be in it so I can stay strong, so I can go to work. So maybe you could stay home because you got food and eating what's in them damn commercials. Maybe because grandma needs to stay home. Like dragging everybody along in this artificial herd thing. Like here's what I was thinking about this morning. In every herd, every organic herd, you got strong and weak for different reasons. And the strong at times have to carry the weak because that's how that works. But right now, in an artificial GMO engineered society that we live in, they're making everybody weak. Everybody stay home. Everybody wear a mask. Everybody breathe their CO2. Everybody get a shot. Everybody. They're making everybody weak. Because it's a power grab. If you take out the strong and all that power gets consolidated up to who? Governing corporations. An organic herd, the strong carries the weak. That's how it's always worked. That's how it should work. If you are involved in an experiment of not being outside or covering your face with flu season, if you want to do that experiment on your body, you do that, but don't abuse other people. All right. Hey, Brother Mark, good morning. Bingo, back on the buck. I haven't seen you in a minute. Good morning. Good to see you back. Sister Stacy's back too. Good to see you back as well. Let me see. Honesty is almost extinct these days. It is, Diane, because we live in a corrupt society and people are indoctrinated to be corrupt. You know, they manifest what they're raised to be, and we're indoctrinated to be in conflict with each other. And Diane, I think we have to undo that. We have to consciously work on not being in conflict with other people we need to work with. Victim privilege now. Well, right, Diane, and then that's another thing they indoctrinate people to be victims. You're not a victim. You're not a victim. And you're not a slave. You're a captive. You're a captive, but not a slave. And nobody's a victim. Like, and so what they do, and how that fits in, Diane, is they're getting people to manifest victimhood. That proud victimhood. I'm a victim. You did this to me. Your people did this to me. Or you. No, you need to reclaim that. You need to be a thug like some of these women who step out of domestic violence. Like, oh, hell no. You did that? Yeah, you did. But you ain't gonna do it again. You did that? Yeah. I'm not gonna take in that victimhood. I'm not gonna start a group based in victims. I'm gonna start a group maybe based in empowered people, but not victimism. You don't ever want to manifest more, because if you're manifesting victimism, what's going to show up in your life? Victimizers, people who are looking to do that. That's just how all of this works. The Kundalini is so beautiful. Go ahead, Riley. All right, are we going to get down? I'm getting down. I want to get into John Pilger. I try to make sure I get comments by people who are posting comments, engaging in the conversation. Please don't plant that scenario. Don't want that path. Lynn, who are you talking to? What scenario? Well, it's kind of hard to do this comment. People like to play God. They do, Martha. And the only way you can play God is you think you're right? That's the only way you can be God. If you think you're omnipotent, like the long-term effects of abusing people by going along with those in power. Playing God. That sociopathic, narcissistic, indoctrinated thing that we get to, that we think we are right. Like Facebook. And we're talking less and less on here. I'm actually posting less and less, believe it or not, because one, you can't have an honest conversation because it's being censored and deleted. But two, a lot of people just want to be right. They don't want to do what's correct. They don't want to do what's just. They don't want a solution. They just want to be right. They want you to like their post. And to me, that's still more low vibe stuff that we need to get out of. I hadn't thought about kids climbing through my windows for food. Dang it. Yeah, well, right, Nicole Smith. And I think that's why the conversations about the Great Depression are so important. Thinking about, what is Hollywood saying it's like, but what is it really going to be like? You wake up in the middle of the night and somebody's climbing through your window. If you're armed, you're probably going to shoot them. What happens when you turn on the light and realize that was just a child, somebody's baby, and their parents are gone? Like, that's not a world anybody that I know, I think, would want to know. No, we can play God by creating a child. Go on, Conan. Oh, well, we are gods, right? We are gods and goddesses. We can create life. But can we love life? We can play God. We can create the life because it's fun. But can we love the life? Can we love all life? The life that we're all a part of. We're great at creating it. We get a lot of practice. We need a hell of a lot more practice in loving it. All right, hang on. Let me move on to John Pilger, because I want to get his take. Now supremacy is moves on, and people are playing this game like it's political, and they think that, yeah, it's gonna be okay. Yes, the new normal's coming. We're gonna be all right. You better turn off that television. That is not what's coming. Here we go. If anyone has any questions, anybody new, look like some new people around here. Why am I watching RT Russia today? Because if you want to be lied to, watch the news from your country. Right? The news from your country is designed to lie to you. That's what the mass media does. If you want to get any little piece of semblance of the truth, you have to get media from outside of your country. If you want to have an honest discussion about what's going on Facebook in your country, you need to go to Facebook outside of your country, or you need to talk to people who are not in your country, right? Your news is designed to lie to you. My news is designed to lie to me. So this is why I go to RT. The rare times I watch the news. But this is John Pilger, so I got to
I'm Action Rotanti, and we're going underground back in the studio for this season's finale. Coming up on the show, as the 75th anniversary of the US nuclear attack on Hiroshima and Nagasaki coincides with the world arguably never nearer to nuclear war, we speak to one of the world's greatest journalists and filmmakers, John Pilger, on the coronavirus pandemic, geopolitical brinkmanship, and the ongoing UK detention and torture of WikiLeaks founder, Julian Assange.
That should be good. Talk about wild goose chase. Making nuclear weapons is a wild goose chase, right? These arms race that nobody agrees with, but everybody votes for.
All this and more coming up in today's Going Underground.
Doesn't end well.
Let's go straight to Sydney in Australia as New South Wales grapples with a spike in coronavirus cases. John Pilger, welcome to the show. The last time I...
Keep in mind, spike in case, no spike in death, means that survival rate is going up. And it has to be around somewhere around 99%. 99% of the people survive from this. How many people survive from cancer stage 4? Who actually should get our attention and resources? Your fear or people who need help now?
Spoke to you. You were telling us what the media here wasn't telling us, that there had been a pandemic rehearsal in 2016 and there was a cover-up of it.
I didn't hear that. I didn't know you said
What's
that.
your take now? The tens of thousands of people in this country have died because of coronavirus, and how is it there in Australia?
Well, it's a shocking state of affairs, isn't it? I mean, just last week, before the Public Accounts Committee in London, the whole shocking landscape was laid out, that thousands of people had been thrown out of hospitals back into care homes. It really is the kind of making of an expendable society where experts talk blithely, as one of them did in this particular report, that 12,000 excess deaths would have happened. Another expert said, no, wait a minute, if there's another spike, it's likely in the UK to go up to 35,000. Now, we're not talking about the total of coronavirus victims. We're talking about people who die in care homes, who were thrown out of hospital. I think that's one of the great scandals of this, that Public Health England, in effect, in April, emptied hospitals of all non-coronavirus victims, including cancer patients, cardio patients, neurology patients, people who needed serious attention. And here we now have the president of the Royal College of Surgeons, arguably the most conservative of the Royal Colleges, saying with a hint of panic in his voice, look, we can't go on like this, because if there's another spike, we're going to lose thousands of more people. So what this has been is just, and they knew it. They knew in what came out at this Public Accounts Committee hearing is that Public Health England, and therefore all those executives in the Department of Health and Social Care, they knew that all these elderly people and people with disabilities and people in care homes or people were at risk if they were left, if they weren't in hospital. But still, they dumped them. They threw them out of hospital.
You know, deep divers. Deep divers. This is where I get all Ralph smart on you. It's so beautiful to get confirmation. I didn't watch this. I didn't even watch it at all. But when you starting to have the big voices in media, the ones who are damn sure closer to telling the truth than anybody else, starting to say the things that we're talking about, there is a global consciousness that's happening. Speaking up for the people who need the care. Speaking down on shutdown supremacy, shutdown privilege. Power, confirmation. the people who need the help get the help instead of people who watch the damn television telling them who needs the help, knowing that all of television is purchased and owned by pharmaceutical commercials who just want to sell you a product because they're running out of patents. They have no else to way to make money. This is why I think a lot of this is a cover-up. I think a lot of it is a cover-up, and you shouldn't help the cover. Never, you know what the wrong side of history always is? The wrong side of history always is the people who support the book burners, right? The people who support the censoring, the people who support the side that is so unscientific that it just doesn't let honesty out. It can't do open source because it's corrupt and dirty. People don't hide things unless they got things to hide, right? The right side of history is never the side that's burning the witch. Please don't be involved in witch hunts, blaming other people for the shutdown. Right? The shutdown isn't because we didn't do what we were told to do because we're slaves, because your government told you this. The shutdown occurred because your government shut it down. That's the fact. The fact is, you can be as silly, ignorant, TV believing as you want to be at political season. The reality is the shutdown was done. And at least 1 million people, they say, died because of it. Shut down aside, and now they're covering it up. They kicked all those people out of hospitals. What kind of person does that? I mean, I get your fear. I get your fear, and you're just following your politician because you trust them and they're your hero. But think about the top. What kind of person kicks grandma out of the hospital on the feet? Not grandma, because that's not even fair. Kicks hundreds of thousands of people out of hospitals all over the world. People who need urgent care, people who need those nurses that are trying to look out, people who need those doctors who are trying to heal them in a system that doesn't work. Rockefeller, allopathic, crony medicine, where they have to use a synthetic, profitable chemical to heal somebody as opposed to natural things that do. You think that's human? See, I don't think that's human. I think whatever is in control at a global level is some sort of a dark, evil thing, because I don't know anybody that can do that. And I damn sure don't want to know anybody who wants to do it again.
And you know, one doesn't want to add to the hysteria about this, and I'm not trying to do that, but I think there's something very grave and disturbing, disquieting about all of this. That so many people, so many vulnerable, elderly, disabled people were thrown out of hospital and didn't get the care in care homes, and many of them died on their own. That's a national shame.
Viewers can watch your latest film, The Dirty War, on the NHS, of course. I would say Public Health England and Boris Johnson and his government completely refute that they deliberately sent thousands, tens of thousands of people to their deaths because of that care home policy.
And that's not a shame. That's called a genocide.
Now, as you imply, doctors and surgeons, as you refer to, are warning that many tens of thousands will be killed by a second wave because of the NHS shutdown of cancer services. Why do you think less is heard about the impact on other diseases of the response to the pandemic here in Britain with the NHS?
I think it's got to go straight back to Simon Stevens and his cabal running the show. These people have enormous power. Stevens presided over perhaps the greatest disabling of bed capacity in the NHS since 1948, since the beginning of the NHS. And here the NHS, he had plenty of warnings. Not only was the results of a drill in 2016 ignored, but going back earlier than that, people were warning the Cameron government that if the Lansley so-called reform, that is the Health and Social Care Act, that effectively set up intense privatization and fragmentation of the health service, if they happen, and there was a great public emergency, such as a pandemic, then it would be a catastrophe. They were warned. There were so many warnings. There were so many experts to warn them. And none of this was heeded. That should not pass. That really should not pass. That now where we can pick up a newspaper and casually read that there will be up to 35,000 excess deaths, I like that expression, excess deaths of people, of cancer patients, cardio patients, and other people who needed serious diagnosis and serious treatment who were denied it. Why?
Well,
how do you
Simon
even
Stevens
do that? Like, how do you even condemn people to die because you're scared? How do you get behind and support politicians who are willing to kill thousands of people because you're scared? I have no idea. I gotta read something real quick. Jimmy said, come to the calm conclusion, they dark forces want about 2/3 of the general population to die, to further perpetuation of profits to continue. And what Jimmy is talking about is depopulation. It's interesting, Jimmy, that people still debate whether or not the wealthiest people in the world, the greediest people who don't want to share, would actually depopulate the people, the useless eaters, as it's put, in something like this. All the evidence, which blows my mind that John Pilger, as big as his name is, talked about, was planned. It was planned. On the internet, they had the plans right there. Depopulation is not a conspiracy theory, is what kings have always done when they don't want to share with the population. There's too many people on this planet for the wealthy. We are not overpopulated as a planet. We're overstupulated. We're over-ignorated. That's what we are. We're not overpopulated. We have enough resources to, we can put the whole world's population in Texas. Isn't that what Brother Juan was talking about the other day? You could put the entire world population in Texas, and you could feed the entire world population with vertical farms out of Rhode Island. That's it. So there's no question if we're overpopulated. We're not. We're stupid. We're ignorant. We're indoctrinated. They put us on wild goose chases because they don't like to share, for greed. The shutdown, reopening isn't about greed, which is another narrative on television. Reopening is about survival. The shutdown, that's what greed was about. All right, ISS headquarters is in Yuma, Arizona, where 2 weeks ago, 600 children and 30 immigrant detainees went missing. And it's funny, Jackie, it's not funny, it's interesting how that hashtag Save the Children is only in social media and being promoted by poor folk. Just find it highly interesting that none of the politicians are talking about that. None of the politicians are talking about human trafficking. None of the politicians are talking about that hashtag Save the Children. They're just talking about shutting down more and winning the next election. I find that to be interesting. What's that, Lynn Marie? It's so true. My brother is not getting the cancer care he needs, only at home. See, and so Lynn, and I thank you for that confirmation. And for the sake of your brother, that's why we do this. That's the only reason why honesty and being true and being a decent human being and not using your privilege, your cancer-free privilege, force over other people, being the supremacist. See, having health, you're supposed to use that to help people like Lynn's brother. You're not supposed to use that to abuse people like him because you're scared. It's okay to be wrong. I say things, Lynn, sometimes people get upset with me. I don't want anyone to be upset with me. I say things because people say things, used to say things, and they still do, in strong language that get me to grow up. This is a maturing process. We need to be adults to look and say, you know what? I never really thought about it that way. I get that. Yeah, I don't want to be affiliated with the people who are supporting this, so I understand that. I'm going to change my behavior. And that's what we need to do for people like your brother, Lynn. When people get sick in the herd, we're supposed to allocate all resources that we can to save his life, because that's what we do as family. That's what we do as cousins. We don't hide in our houses and make everybody else hide too, because we're scared of something that I don't even have to get into, like whether it's real or not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Lynn, it doesn't matter. If there's something out there, then people don't have to worry about the people who don't want to wear the mask. I mean, process that for a minute. You got people who need care who aren't getting care. And the people that you're mad at that want to go outside and work are the ones who are going to be providing the things that you buy, the food that you eat, the clothes that you wear, the shoes on your feet. And you're mad at those people that they want to go out and work and do the strong thing while you want to hide in your house and do the weak thing. And maybe you need to hide in your house and do the weak thing. Maybe your immune system doesn't work. But why in the world would you go along with a television narrative that they're the bad people? They're the people who are the ones who are trying to keep society going so everyone can get the care that they need and the food that they need so we don't fall into an apocalypse. And if there is something out there, then you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry. Lindsay, I don't do fear. I eat the food I'm supposed to eat and I live how I'm supposed to live best that I can and I do what I'm supposed to do. And if the cuckoo flu gets me, if a bioweapon gets me, then it just gets me. If they need to come give me some Bob Marley foot cancer, then give it to me. Damn it, hurry up. It's my left toe right here. Put it on the left toe because I got bunions on this one. Lynn, I posted pictures online of my feet. People get to see. And I got bunions on that foot. Go on, put it in there then. But I'm never going to stop doing what's right for Lynn's brother because that's what we are supposed to do for each other because we're a family. You know? And if something gets me, then you don't have to worry about me in my videos ever again. I mean, that should be the thing that you want. If you don't like me, like, yeah, need to send Gerard out there and grow some food. That's right, damn it. You know, and then if the cuckoo virus get me, then bye-bye. But that's okay. That's what the strong do. The strong, like in the lion pride. The strong, not the weak men. Not the potent men that just sit back and let the women hunt. You know, the strong. They're stronger in numbers. They're smarter and wiser. And so the women do all the hunting. Or the pride dies. You can't stop the strong from doing what the strong are supposed to do to support the pride. All right, anyway, let me get to the last couple comments. I'll let it take a little bit more. I'm happy John Pilger's talking about it. New World Order is gaining big power, Christine, and there are millions of people who are supporting it. I have no idea why. Why in the hell would you support the people who are burning up the planet? Christine, I was watching a video this morning. They were kind of touching on like what is the main threat against the human beings, and that's where I got that question from. And they were talking about climate change, right? And it's like climate change and fossil fuel, and I was like, Christine, oh my God, I don't even know what to say. And so I just did one comment on the video, and I just said, look, you have something called the Inventions Security Act of 1951. It banned all highly efficient power production. The planet is not being burned up because we don't have solutions. The planet is being burned up because the people who set all this up are still in power. The system that they set up is still in power. All you got to do is repeal the Invention Security Act of 1951 and everybody gets what they need, and any aspects of what we're doing to destroy the climate stops. But like he said before, early on, the opposite of courage is conformity. Not cowardice, but conformity. So a lot of people conform to the people who support the system that's hiding technology from the population. And so they conform. And so they get mad at the right, or they get mad at conservatives, they get mad at whoever in your country. And we need to support the French climate accords or something like that. And I'm just like, you know that these are the people that are hiding the technology that are requiring you to stay on fossil fuel or burn up your planet. Conformity and education, enlightenment, a lack of consciousness. That's step one. That's that, like, you don't even have to go to the Invention Security Act. The first step is people need to discover some consciousness, right? They need to discover some level of sentience and sense everybody on this planet and what they need as opposed to their little political gang. Because a lot of people just like to be in fights, Christine. They just like to be right. They like to win. And the New World Order, as you said, is gaining big, big power because we don't have people of courage. We have people of conformity, which is right in bed with cowardice. We are in Operation Lockstep, a Rockefeller initiative, and Jackie, why Rockefellers even exist boggles my mind. Why anything that they set up, any of these crony things that they design is still going, anybody's in support of it is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But you know, there was a time when I didn't know as well, and I'm glad that the people stuck with me as long as they did to get me informed, and now I'm trying to inform myself even more and tell everybody who I can about the things that I learned. They see we are too expensive to maintain. And that's what it is, Tommy Murdoch. They don't want to maintain us. They want us to die. Hashtag we all gonna die because they want us to die. They don't want to pay for you. They don't think that you're family. And that'll lead me into an alien discussion. I don't think these things are human. There's something coming here from another dimension, people in the future, or aliens or something. I don't know how the elites can do the things. I don't know how the Congress and the Senate and the president, I don't even, the prime ministers, how can they do the stuff that they do? Tommy, I don't understand. Tommy, if you were driving a car and you accidentally killed a toddler, it would probably ruin your life, wouldn't it? It would probably, say you were, because that's the example, say you were texting and driving and you accidentally killed, you would spend the rest of your life feeling horrible. These people drop buildings on babies all damn day just to gain more power, like Christina's talking about, this new world order, and folks can't see it. Anyway, good morning, Ivana. Okay, let me move down. Let me get it going.
That point to the fact that bed numbers were going down before he took over. And you're not seriously saying that that there are people weaponizing coronavirus?
Yeah.
They're not weaponizing coronavirus to ideologically privatize the National Health Service, are they?
Of course they're privatizing as we go on. I mean, their utter ruthlessness in privatizing it at the very height of this disaster, with companies taking over PPE distribution and testing and so on, when all that should be in regional public health authorities, which of course themselves were disabled by first by the Cameron government and then later by all those who followed. And yes, Simon Stevens wasn't there at the beginning, that's true, but he was in charge of this monolith which had the lowest bed, when I made the film 30 War on the NHS, it had the lowest bed capacity in Europe. And that was last year, 2019, on the eve of this pandemic. And he was knighted along the way. People have to be called to account, politicians and officials. They have to be called to account because it can't happen again, surely. I mean, it's okay to go and stand out and clap the NHS, and quite right too. Absolutely heroic people doing their best without PPE in the most extraordinary circumstances.
Oh, Lord, go on and speak on it. Go on and speak on it, John. Johnny ain't here to play with you. He ain't here I ain't trying to play with you neither. We said a bunch of stuff there, which is why I like to look at news internationally. So he's talking about the UK, and I don't know the people there. I don't know the names in the NHS, but what I do know is what I see here. It's the same damn thing. I see state governments being collapsed at the local level. I see people being removed from power at the local level and a consolidation of power. I see false flagism. I see disaster capitalism on all levels. And it's not even just one industry, not even just one. They're definitely consolidating power up. So what's happening in the UK is happening here, which is probably what's happening everywhere, which is this whole new one world order march back to feudalism, one monolith, mega power consolidated monster. That's already burning up the world. It's poisoning all your crops. It's poisoning you. It's debilitating your immune system, poisoning your water, your food, behind all the wars. For what? For what? We know that we need to be going the opposite direction. We need to be decolonizing, not building up into one massive colony. Gerard, I thought you said that we need to think as one human race. There's a difference between, yes, I have these conversations with myself, by the way. I do this all I do this all the time. This is how I think through stuff, because I think about, because y'all can't talk, I'm not in an interview, so I'm thinking about how I would debate myself and what I've said in the past. So, well, I thought you said that we're supposed to be one human race. Don't we need a one world government for that? You can be a one human race and not have a king. You don't need a king. You don't need a queen. You don't need a lord. You are a sentient creature. You don't need someone telling you what to do. We need to decolonize, not continue to make more of a monster. We need to think as one human race, free, sovereign, We need to break apart all global everything. We need to break apart all national everything. We need to break apart trade agreements on a continental level. We need to break apart the states, and we need to break apart the local and break it all the way down to the baby and make the baby the powerful thing. Everyone, the 7 billion people on this planet, it is your right to live a sentient life as a sovereign creature, and nothing has authority over you. We need to decolonize. That's the only thing that was permanent. That was the only permaculture in this whole human story, is before the whole world was colonized so they could steal all the land and delete all the cultures. Yeah, I did only see one word comments, Lori. That's exactly what I was like, oh Lord, what is Lori talking about? I'm thinking. I'm trying to think. And I just saw one Lori's comment. I just saw horror, and I was like, oh Lord, what are they talking about now? Let's get back to John. That's exactly, well, it's hard for people, if you haven't live streamed and you don't know how this works, they're having conversations and they're replying to each other. And I understand that. I understand it now. I did not understand that a few weeks ago. And I thought we were talking to each other, and sometimes I say something and it's completely off what they're talking about. But I'm sure Facebook will fix that eventually.
But also undercover of that great warmth felt towards the NHS was a political project that dismantled it, has dismantled it from within, and it's still going on. Suddenly Boris Johnson is the champion of the NHS. This is ridiculous. These people, all of them colluded in the 2012 Health and Social Care Act, which absolutely ravaged the first public health system in the world, and changed it in character and left it prone for when something like this came along.
Ooh, you know I gotta dig into that one. I gotta dig it. And so I assume that is similar to what we got with this universal healthcare crap, this nonsense. This idea that it's a good idea to continue to poison people, not fix Rockefeller medicine, not break allopathic medicine and merge it with holistic and free doctors so they can go heal the way that they're passionately, and nurses, and take a disease management system, for-profit illness system, and make it free for everybody. I know, maybe you not have heard anybody put it that way, but you literally took a system that needs grandma to be sick, ailing, can't walk, barely can breathe, and falling over, barely can even think, and cognizant with Alzheimer's, a system that refuses cures when they get created by the pharmaceutical industries, and go nationwide with it for free. Yeah. So this is why I like that, because it sounds like he's saying the same things are happening there are happening here. And when that happens, that's how you know that you don't actually have a nation. You don't actually have a government. You have corporations that have more influence in your governing than you probably ever have. 2 universities did studies on that. So yeah, no, I'm not interested in universal health care. I'm interested in people don't die. All right, that's how I was raised. I was raised in the church, and I believe in the teachings of Christ and that. I don't believe in the whole Bible. I think there've been some edits. However, when it comes to don't let people die, that's actually what we need. Because to me, that's consciousness. How do you stand by and let somebody die? And I think most of the right agrees with that, but a lot of them understood that you can't create a for-profit system that teaches people it's good to eat Twinkies in the morning and they sit in the hospital and they eat Jell-O and sugar and ice cream while they're dying of cancer, right? You educate people. You can build a healthcare system that's actually a healthcare system that works, but it starts with prevention and then not letting anybody die, right? You got the equipment, you got the technology, you even got almost free energy, if not free energy, hidden in the realms of patents and the Invention Security Act. So you can heal everybody, you can save everybody, but like Jimmy said before, they're not trying to save you. They do want you to die. Not all of you, but most of us. They want most of us to die. So it's good to see that on a global level, like during this pandemic, and it is a pandemic, it is a true pandemic. We're not going to take that away from people. It is a pandemic. but it was planned. It is a pandemic. And not only that, every flu season is a pandemic. By the definition, it spreads around the world and it goes to every single continent, so it's a pandemic. My position is that there are at least 20 other really serious killers above that, which is why I love that John Pilger said that. And those are the people, the things that kill the most. And you know what? Who said it? Jay said, Sergeant Jay said, he did an Instagram. She did an Instagram on yesterday. And she explained, when this happened, we were scared. Well, we weren't scared, I was concerned, because I wore my, when it first happened, it's like, yeah, I'm a distance people because maybe something got loose from a bioweapons lab. I'm pretty sure they're lying to me in the media. I don't know about how bad yet, but let's see how this goes. And once it was obvious that things were being overstated for disaster capitalism, that this was a power grab, then that's when I was like, I'm not doing this no more. I like to be teachable. I'm not like a pit bull. I'm not like Beaufort. He's like a mean pit bull. He gets a hold of something and he can't let it go. I'm not lockjaw. Don't have lockjaw. You're not a beast. You're not an animal. Because if you ever seen a pit bull, when they're training them, you got them on a rope or whatever, and you can hold them in the air, and that pit bull won't let go. He won't let go. I make a silly face, then Beaufort, he won't let go. Right now he's on Jonathan, so I appreciate that. Glad Jonathan's doing like I'm getting an okra break. Learn to let go. Don't have lockjaw. Don't have conformity lockjaw. When you're presented with more information, when you realize that the flu every year has about this survival rate, and you realize this was a yearly flu. And if they're trying to shut down again with shutdown supremacy, using shutdown privilege of the people who can shut down, ignoring the people who can't, then obviously a hell of a lot more is going on than what's being said in the news. And you're being played.
Of which they were warned.
Well, the government is giving more money to the NHS. It's not only Boris Johnson who says the NHS is one of the most important parts of British civic society. It's the Murdoch press, it's the BBC. All of these institutions have been clear that far from wanting to dismantle the NHS, they wanted to protect it, and they celebrated those like an army veteran who walked around the garden to raise money. I know that one case concerned you about a psychologist, I think Wendy Peake, who's had to fundraise, I think online for her cancer care. Do you see this as the major hidden context to coronavirus in this country, ideologically driven privatization?
Wendy Peake case is really remarkable, isn't it? I and many others have contributed to Wendy's campaign, run absolutely wonderfully by her daughters. But this is somebody who's lost an eye. She had a cancer in a melanoma, in a very unusual one. But all that is within the expertise and certainly within the remit of the NHS. Why wasn't she treated? Why wasn't she treated? There are other Wendy Peakes, and perhaps they don't have the same dynamic family to be able to support them all over the country.
Health Secretary Matt Hancock.
All right, I'm gonna move forward. It's getting deep into UK politics, and I don't do the whole politics thing. To me, we got much bigger problems. Something Lori said just kind of keyed me in, and something Jimmy said too. No, Jimmy, not buying that laptop. I'm not gonna do that. He said buy the $150 laptop to put on the side, and I'm not gonna do that. Now is, I invest in the live streaming stuff, but I'm not gonna invest too much in it. That's on Patreon. If you want me to get a $150 laptop, put $150 on Patreon, brah. But I don't think that's the problem. I think I've up the ISP, and right now is the time to be a little frugal. Pretty much everything that I see come through on that Patreon, I do to grow food. We start a different channel on rural, is it rural? That's not rural, urban growing. You know, how to grow food in your yard, how to take a yard and grow food, but that's another discussion. Something Lori said. Spanish flu. The flu pandemic started with a vaccine, I have heard. And this is where we were going, Lori, when we were talking about every pandemic. And I apologize, Ivan, if I'm wrong. I thought pandemic didn't come with a death classification. I thought the definition was it pan. As long as it's going between all the different continents, it affects all the continents, they call it pandemic. You got baby ones and you got big ones. I'm interested in the big ones, not the baby ones, because the big ones where most people die, that's where I think our priority should be. But what Lori said, you know, there's never been a pandemic for a virus without government help. The government's always helped it. It's never not affected an empire is the thing I'll add to that, as I spent a little bit of time here and there looking at history. Every pandemic was it affected an empire at a time somebody was building an empire, and it always happened in a time of war. And we are in a Cold War. So there's something wrong with this epidemics becoming pandemics. There's something, it's getting a lot of help from somewhere. And so I appreciate that piece of information. I was actually, you know what, and that's kind of crazy, Lord, because I was thinking about that 2 days ago. I wanted to know the history of it, because we know it's not the Spanish flu, right? It's the Kansas flu or the Alabama flu. I forgot where it actually came from. But whether or not it started with injecting animal tissue into a human being. Don't know. I'm not going to claim that I do know. I do know this. I do know that you're not supposed to have monkey tissue in you. You're not supposed to have mouse tissue in you. As Judy Miskovich said, you're not supposed to have any tissue in you that could have viruses that could jump species. You know, those are important things to look at and think about. All right.
Just grotesque wheeze.
Well, Hancock denies and refutes any corruption regarding any particular tech company, whether it be Babylon or any other. John Pilger, I'll stop you there. More from legendary journalist and filmmaker after this short break.
Right. Anything I think what he just finished talking about is the disaster capitalism. It's just not big pharma. It's everybody, right? Disaster capitalism across the board, even down to the local level, from private prisons to private hospitals, to insurance companies, to the pharmaceutical industry, to the government grabbing rights, to some local police trying to get new equipment, right? People trying to get jobs, becoming contact tracers. This is the problem with the colonized world, which is why I say we have to decolonize. We got to break it all up and go back to the permanent, higher evolved cultures we were before all of this economy crap. Because when you break a human being by taking its sentience from it, right? You break a human being by taking its sovereignty and its power from it. You break a human being by taking its land. That's why when people are born, they're not given land. They're not given an ecosystem. They're pushed into an apartment or off the land. Because as long as they need the land to survive, and a few around the world own all the land, in which they do, nobody in America actually owns it. It means that you will work for a lifetime. Slavery. By another word, it's just another flavor of slavery. They took what you need to be independent and support yourself and made a slave out of it. And I like to put it that way because it makes me feel how I'm supposed to feel when I think about this nonsense. Let me see if he wraps up and says anything about it.
The authorities are not telling us about. What can we expect? Well, at the moment, it's farce. At the end of June, the so-called prosecution in this extradition bid by the United States stood up and said, well, they have a new indictment that overrides the 17 previous charges in the old indictment. The old charges were about espionage, but this is about hacking, and it concerns their major informant is a paid FBI informant, a serial criminal who has been...
Okay, I'm gonna have to finish that later. So he's talking about Assange. He's talking about how the extradition charges were about hacking because he gave that lady who gave him some of the information, or they say he did, a piece of software or something to help him break a password or something, her break a password. I don't know anything about that. I like to stick to human principles. If you are murdering children, if you are protecting Epstein Islands, if you are using your acronym agencies to watch the people more than keep them safe, if you're using police to arrest people for debt collection on Wall Street, if you're writing laws to create artificial scarcity to keep people in conflict with each other and people die, if you're in bed with Monsanto and chemical companies that are giving everybody cancer, poisoning the food, if you're in bed with big pharmaceutical industries that are putting things in shots that are giving people diseases that we've never had in human history, nobody hacking into what you're doing is a bad person. Anybody who is trying to reveal the lies that you've been telling to murder people all this planet is somebody I call a brother. And I have no idea why anybody still has issues with Julian Assange or WikiLeaks. I have no idea. The CIA, why do you care? Why do you care? He's hacking the databases of the people who are hiding free energy, and millions of people die every damn year because they don't have energy. The hell is wrong with you? I love you to death. I do. I love people to death, but I don't know how their brains think. Think about things at the principle level. So I watched this later, but yeah, so there's nothing Julian Assange did. He created a WikiLeaks, right? He created a means for people to actually tell you how your world actually works. That was one of the greatest things that's been done since the beginning of time. If you're out there on a wild goose chase and they give you some bullshizzle to go after people who actually didn't do something to you, it's not a problem that affects all humans globally. That's the thing you might want to think about. All right, I'm gonna read comments. I'm surprised they haven't whacked John Pilger by now and bombed the RT studios. Well, Pat, it's you know what? I would think that it's possible that it's more powerful to let people talk the way you control their talk than to kill them. If they got rid of John Pilsner, there would be an investigation. You'd have more people who would flock towards wanting to know what's true instead of bullshit. And I think they got so many scandals going right now. It's easier to let them talk and you delete or you refuse to let out on social media or on the airways the things that are significant. You know, it's kind of like, social media. They're still deleting pages if you do too much damage, but for most people, they just silence the conversations. Most people aren't talking anymore because they know all they're going to do is get thrown in jail for saying something that's true. They'll be censored for saying something that a professional said, something a whistleblower said. And it's just like, at some point, people just stop. Like that whole conversation, if the masks work, but all the bioweapons suits, all the laboratories that have employees that work with this strain of virus have to have level 3 positive pressure weapon suit. That's the only thing that stops it. And they don't even know if that stops it, but that's an OSHA regulation. They did the study, and I don't trust OSHA, but they handed that to outside consultants who did the study and told OSHA what the regulations need to be. Period. End of discussion. And after a while, you get tired of saying that because there's some people, they don't really care. They don't care about grandma. They don't care about you. They just want to be right. It's election season, and they don't think that we're going into an apocalypse. So yeah, I think, Pat, it's more powerful to control the conversation than delete it. If you delete people, you kill people, you delete their profiles, then I think it pushes more people to being anti your platforms. But if you let people live and you just control how they talk, you teach them to self-censor and they say, well, what's the point? Why am I even going to say if they just delete the comment? They won't let me post it anyway, or just throw me in some sort of a Facebook or YouTube jail. So I think it's more powerful to control the conversation. Because then their fake reality, their matrix, it looks more real, if they're going away. So anyway, Lynn is studying to be a barefoot doctor. You good? I hope so. Hope barefoot doctor is a grounding microbiome healing doctor that will use all forms of known medicine to help people. Because I'm not against synthetic medicine. I just think that we use it in every scenario, and we force doctors to use that through that standard care and practice model. And we need to let doctors just be professional. All right. The Bible was put together by Masons. Oh, well, Jackie, yeah, you know what? I try to avoid those topics nowadays. I got my beliefs. Everyone has their beliefs. I was raised in the church, but me, I don't. When I see something that obviously isn't right, and I learn something that obviously means that something is suspicious, I have to change my behavior when it comes to that. A lot of people get emotional when you start talking about religion and the Bible. So I'm not going to address that for the moment. I think we have bigger problems. The classification of a pandemic requires much larger numbers of kids. Tony Smith is a great live stream on the King James Bible. Yeah, he does. Kid Tony Smith at Cuss Church does a whole lot of great streams on the Bible. And I listen to some of them. I do. He's actually spent years studying history. Never heard of King James Version. That's the King James Version, Christine. The King James Version, if I remember my history, that came from either the Vulgate or the Septuagint. Right? There were two. Goodness gracious, don't get in that conversation. I studied that, and I don't want to go back down that pathway. I'll say this: that I love my friends to death. I don't have the same belief systems that they do. The result of my study was that the King James Version of the Bible was canonized over 200 times, and the Vulgate or Septuagint that it came from was also modified, and there were cultural appropriations, changing of the names and the stories, and so I'm just in a holding pattern, which is where I'm at. I'm fine with what anybody else believes. I have nothing. I believe in the teachings of Jesus Christ because Jesus Christ taught love. Jesus taught, I'm supposed to love everybody, take care of everybody, try to heal everyone I can, feed people, get your shirt off my back if I got it, and everything else beyond that to me is academic. All right, it's all about the shots. Yes, Diane, it's all about the shots. They have people locked in their houses and wearing face diapers because they're building up enough fear and disgust and hatred, and they're taking people and they're focusing it on the healthy people. So the people who are scared are targeting the healthy people because they're not happy and they feel that they can't go outside until the government says it's okay. So they're blaming the healthy people instead of the government that actually did the shutdown. But it's a plan, and you see the plan. The plan is to get you to want their product by blame shifting other people that's got nothing to do with the conversation. That's exactly what they're doing, and that's why I can't go along with it, Diane. I won't wear them anywhere other than a store. I won't wear them. I won't do it. And that's once it gets to the part, if they say, yeah, well, we're going to do a total outside in your car face mask thing. Oh well, I'll be ready for the citations. I'll be ready for whatever it is. But my sheriff already said, yeah, we're not getting behind none of that. Our sheriff already said that no, that's not in the Bill of Rights, nor Constitution, nor is it law. We're not supporting any of that. So I would recommend people, if you have no interest in being conforming to what for-profit industries have purchased through lobbyists and politicians, I suggest you think about moving to a place where you have a sheriff that honors you more than global for-profit vaccination companies. Then there is a Hall of Justice, which is accessible through meditation. There is, Jackie, I meditate every morning. Meditation is a wonderful, phenomenal thing. Everybody should meditate every day. My phone has been doing funny things. Probably, Nicole, because they're all highly controlled. Didn't King James even write the demonology book too? I'm not sure, Tommy. I don't want to go into that. If you make a sociopath out of a child, it takes a lifetime to learn how to have empathy, but they will not forget how not to have empathy. Makes sense, Jimmy, and that's what they do to us at birth. They take us and they get us to use our privilege to abuse other people, and that is something that we have to stop. Oh, yes, South Dakota, Tommy. And South Dakota sounds good because they didn't shut down. They're creating a real hatred for non-mask wearers. They are. South Dakota didn't shut down. That actually, Tommy, that's the governor who said, yeah, I have no interest in your game. That was a governor who said, yeah, I know, every 2 years they pull this, and they roll out them lobbyist check, and I'm not playing that. I'm gonna stay open. And that's a state that's high on my list. That is a state because it's a governor that stands by its people more than corporations. That's why. As long as you stand by my right to go outside and get a virus, or a bioweapon, then I'm good with you. If you believe that for-profit vaccination companies have a right to treat me like a slave or prisoner, then yeah, that's a state. I can tell you this, Tommy, I'm not staying here. I can tell you that. All right, Solomon, the keys to Solomon. Well, a couple things. Number one, are you sure? Lots of laughter. Pat, who are you talking about? You know, most of the history we've been taught is bullshizzle, which is true, Pat. I guess you're replying to somebody else. So that's a good question. Are you sure? And number two, there's a school of thought that the 1918 pandemic also correlated with increased electrical fields around the planet and caused people to react and fall ill, much like, yes, exactly. Cinco. Cinco, yeah, Cinco. Jed, that's something that you're not allowed to say much anymore. And you know what, Pat? I saw the guy who did the video who was linking that together where they started using the increased EMF fields. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. And I like to keep an open mind and say I have no idea, but we know that the Kansas flu, because it's Kansas, right? Not Spanish flu, it had help. Every pandemic has help. And so the idea that there is a pandemic that's happening right now from a virus that is not getting governmental help is ignorant. 100% ignorant of history and common damn sense. And it would be a bad idea to conform to the people who either have no clue that all pandemics have help from government, viral ones, and probably all of them do right now, Pat. Because that the technology you're talking about, it's 4 version. It's quattro version. It already caused cancer. It already caused illnesses. It's already did it, and so of course the idea that the Cinco one didn't is ridiculous. It's pure ridiculous. And so we might even be able to go out on a ledge and say all the modern plagues come from technology. They all get help from government. And some of it is subsidized. If your government actually cared about your health, they would stop subsidizing putting carcinogens on all your food with the pesticide companies. They obviously aren't, so I know they obviously don't care. Hey, good morning, Sandra. Christine, what's that? Urban growing, keep us in touch. I will, Christine, because what I did this year, I think I mentioned that. I took a grass field and turned it into a massive to me, a massive garden. Yeah, it's huge. Woo! I have tropical plants that are 15 feet tall. The castor tree. I took pictures of it. It's crazy. But everything is so healthy. It's amazing. Wood chips, that's all you got to do. All you got to do is take your grass and turn your grass, right? Don't get a tiller and go kill all the biology, because the reason why I did it, Christine, was to prove to myself the methods of Elaine Ingham and a few others with no-till farming, right? The most tilling I did was just overturn the grass. I didn't dig deep. Overturn the grass, wood chips, planted, and now all the colonies of fungi and microbiology are coming back, and it's freaking amazing. It's just spitting tomatoes out, spitting out basil. This morning I was out there, I got too much basil growing. I don't know what the hell to do with it. I'm hoping the potatoes are on point. I think they are. I can't even keep up with picking the food. It's so much, the peppers and squash and zucchini. Zucchini big as hell, and I can't even pick it in time. But I wanted to, and I did it. I think it was about a little more than 1/4 of an acre. And part of my the reason why I did that was because most people have about 1/4 of an acre, right? And so when you look at these cities, people who live in the brownstones, people who live in the Twins in Philly, and people who live in suburbia, and they got about an acre. I wanted to prove that you could just take your grass the same exact year. I didn't do it in the fall. I did this after the pandemic. While everybody was hiding in the house, I was outside. I was working the whole time. That you, within the same season, can flip the grass and do that. The problem when you do that, it creates a nitrate spike. This is the problem with tilling. You're not supposed to. You shouldn't till. Is whether or not I could do that, create a nitrate spike, but still use wood chips to create the colonies, the soil food web of microbiology, right? The protozoa, the fungi, mycorrhizae fungi, to create a garden to create enough healthy food in a quick time. And it worked. It worked. So then I got the microscope, looking at the protozoa, looking at the mycorrhizae fungi, but just within a few months, totally flipped a grass, Victorian, grassy yard that's not been cared for into a very lush garden. And now what I'm doing with that, the food from that, and that comes from the Patreon. So people on the Patreon did that. Thank you very much. These are the people who supported that. Now I have food where I can look out for people, not shoot people. Kids come to the door, I can give them food, not bullets. See, that's where I think we need to resonate. That's why I'm saying consciousness needs to become before all of this. People are hiding in the house watching Netflix and Hulu. There's nothing wrong with that. But try to think about what you can do with the skills you have to help other people. Because that's who we are. That's who we are. And it doesn't make me a great person. It doesn't make me a good person. None of that. Don't even start with that because people like to say stuff like that. It just makes me a person. That's it. That's it. That's what we are supposed to do. That is literally the bare minimum of humanity. Bare minimum. And you don't ever thank anybody for doing the bare minimum of what human beings are supposed to do. Above and beyond that is like releasing free energy, building houses free. But no, we're supposed to do that too. That's common damn sense as a species. I'm not even sure what good is anymore. I think it's like what Jimmy was just saying. That we're so indoctrinated to do the bare minimum, to be so self-serving. I'm not even sure I know. I don't know what is good. I don't know what good is. I don't even know what good is. I have no idea. All right, let's get going. No, because I know y'all start. I have good friends. They love me to death. And their family, I love them to death too. But I don't let nobody toot my horn because nobody's horn on earth needs to be tooted. Not right now. Not where we are. All right. What is this? Give me your P.O. box. I'll have the clown send you a cyber blob preloaded. What? With like a key, and you can hide, Mr. IT guy. We'll talk, Jimmy. You want to make? You can make a donation. I'm fine with that. You can make I got tons of old laptops that I probably could convert, but I think the issue here, Jimmy, is ISP. Like I've got my phone here. I'm looking at old comments on a cell signal. So I'm trying to get better at what I do, and I think you remember early on it was very choppy, and so I've got certain technology here from XSplit to multi-streaming so that I only have one channel going on the ISP. But we'll talk. I'm completely open to trying to get better at what we're doing. We are in the apocalypse. As apocalypses go, it's not too bad of a bad one, but it can get worse, and we need to do anything we can to not make it worse on anybody else. That was a thank you. Vaccination, we killed a ton. Yeah, Naomi, I worked in Big Pharma, and I talked to some of the people who worked on some of that stuff, and I've heard things I'll never repeat, but the bottom line is that I'm not a fan at all. I'm not a fan. If it has to be forced, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm already not a fan. You can't force anything on anybody. That's low vibe, dark energy, ridiculousness. You can't force. If you have to force it, it's not medicine. No, that's not medicine. You can't rape somebody and say it's good for them. You can't force it in somebody and say it's good for them, whether through compulsion or with a gun. Right? Whether through you can't get a driver's license or you can't buy a house or you can't work. You can't force people to do things. If you're scared to be outside, you need to stay home. So that's not medicine. The Bible is a history book, but fails to go into summer. I'm resonating with that, Jackie. That's kind of where I'm at. All these books are history books. The Quran, the Bible, the Gita, and people have modified things over time. And I kind of stopped there. Like, who was it that said that deep thing not too long ago? Don't worry about the messenger, focus on the message. Too many people are worried about the messenger. Too many people worry about the version. Too many people worried about the God. Too many people worried about the prophets. Too many people are worried about the messenger, and they forgot the message. And I'm just focused on the message right now. Love people, try to be a decent person, try to do the right thing. You might die, don't worry about it. You're not really living anyway. Do the right thing while you're here. Cause that'd suck. Like imagine if you're here, Naomi. They're like, no, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. And all of a sudden you die and you realize, yeah, well, you're here for a minute. You like go back to the Earth lobby on the moon or on that little thing that got that shard that that astronaut talks about. And you're like, oh, damn it. Oh, you mean you don't die? I wasted my whole life working as an engineer and a programmer to make those bastards at the top wealthy, and the whole time I could have been being a decent human being. You mean to tell me I gotta go back to Earth? I have to reincarnate and y'all gonna wipe my memory again. I gotta go back, and I didn't really make it a nicer place. I think that's my fear, Naomi. Is I'll go to the game lobby and like, dang it, I knew it. Oh! I should have free energy. Oh, I should have said the right thing. I should have. Oh man, I was a dentist. Oh man, why was I doing? I knew I couldn't take it with me. Naomi, what the hell's wrong? Why didn't I know? I think a lot of people discovered that. Don't worry, y'all. When you die, you don't go nowhere. I think you got to come back here. Like, damn it, I could have been fighting pedophilia the whole damn time. Instead, I was out there voting for the system and the government that always supported pedophilia. So now I got to go back down there as a child. Karma is the mother. Karma is a biatch. I don't know what she is, but she is just. She is just. As an adult, you need to do what you can do to make sure you leave this place better than how you found it, because you might come back as the weakest people that you let it abuse. Think about it like that. But that's what I kind of think now. That's what I'm worried about. I get that because you figure it all out once you get there. I had a family member who asked me that the other day. He said, well, what do you think that Dad would think about you not protecting grandma, not protecting mama? I said, well, I think of my father when he died, the moment he was gone, I almost guarantee you he's in that game lobby like, oh, you mean to tell me? That's what I think. I think my father, because he has to have weird words. He's probably like, son of a gun. That was his word, son of a gun. I worked for the Pentagon. I worked for the Department of Defense. You mean to tell me that the whole time these people was working for the Rockefellers and Rothschilds and all the things that hated Christ's religion because he was a deacon in the church. He was big time man in the church. You mean to tell me the whole damn time that this was happening? So what do you think? Well, so what would I think my father think? Well, I think if he, doing that wave creature energy thing right now, he's like, you know what? I think I got one son that's starting to figure it out. The rest of them, I don't know where I went wrong. I have no idea. But maybe they'll figure it out. They're literally eating poison, drinking poison, breathing in poison, living in a poisonous house by the same industry with the same government, subsidizing people being poisoned, not having immune systems, or having no interest in caring for your health. Yeah, I realize. That's what I think he thinks. He's probably looking at Pigeon Yaman like, I can't believe that I made children and they on the earth and they think that the same government that can starve babies to death to their stomachs pop in the millions is actually concerned with you having the sniffles. That doesn't even work. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna start to wrap up and get out of here. Last couple of times. Oh, goodness gracious. I drink a lot of water because I try to flush through all the United States Incorporation. All of the chemicals and carcinogens they put in all my food, I try to flush it. I mean, I'm mostly sustainable in terms of the garden. Well, not mostly. I could totally live on the garden. I could 100% live on my garden. But I'm right now, I'm trying to figure out how to dry and can and do the things so that we can get through the winter and I have something to share with my neighbors if people have needs. But I drink a lot of water, so I have to pee a lot. And when you do that, that's how you getting all that stuff out. Breast cancer, like the breast, it consolidates a lot of the chemicals and metals and stuff like that. Like breast cancer alone is a pandemic. It's a pandemic. We don't need no resources to try to wage a war on viruses. You need to take them resources and help the people that's dying right now. Not the scared people, not the people with the shutdown privilege where they can go hide in their house. But the people who need our help and our resources right now, I'll take one for the team. I'll take one for breast cancer. I'm fine with that. I know you'll wear the ribbon. Was it pink? What's the breast cancer ribbon? That's the virtue signal thing. It is for breast cancer, and I'm a donate money to breast cancer. But now you're hiding in your house. No, I take one for the team. If you're going out there, I get that bioweapon. They go and then, hey, American privilege. I've lived it pretty good my life, and if my privilege comes back to bite me, then it comes back to bite me. But I'm gonna still do what I'm supposed to do. I have never wore a pink breast cancer label thing in my life. I have never marched for breast cancer, and I've never donated a dime. But I go out there and do my job. I'll come on here and tell you that, yeah, you don't need to be worried about a cure for me. Don't waste one penny in my name because you ain't putting that injection in me. You take my pennies from my injection and you go and put that in breast cancer. You go and put that in autism research. You go and put that in something else. But hopefully we are witnessing the collapse of the pharmaceutical industry. That's what I'm hoping on. Ham radio internet. Yeah, Tony, we need to get back to that. We do need to get back to shortwave radio and ham radio. I used to have the walkie-talkie as a kid. Good stuff. You can't censor that at all. They consider them terrorists these days. This world is truly upside down. It is, Tommy, which is why we got glass collapsing. The world is coming to an end as we know it, because the world as we know it should have not been ever built. The whole thing was colonized, and it was done in killing the people who had permanent cultures where they lived in sync with the land and each other. And I'm sure wars popped off, but it was nothing like today. Nothing like, you didn't have any kings back then poisoning their people through the food slough. Yeah, so we need to decolonize. Give the land back to the people, and the people need to go pick up the sustainable, permanent cultures that all the people had that the kings needed to destroy. That's what we need. That's where we need to go. And you don't need to worry about the inhabitants of that land, what ethnicity, race, culture, religion that they're from. If they're on that land, you need to do it with them equally. Everybody needs land. That's how we get our power back as a species. And anybody who defies that, Tommy, is a terrorist. Anybody who wants the land for the people is considered to be a terrorist. That's the definition of terrorism right now. Anybody who actually is doing what they're supposed to, sustainability on their own land and not for the consolidation of power, is a terrorist. And I'd rather be a patriot to the human race than be a patriot to something that I can't see. What about Nibiru, aka Planet X? Jackie, I think they proved it, right? They know there's a 10th planet out there. They know that it was in the 80s, the Ursa satellites saw that dark planet that was moving around. You know, they say that's where the Younger Dryas came from. You know, the asteroids came in from that planet coming through. I don't know. But I know that NASA saw it through the Ursa satellite. They saw a dark, well, they either call it a dark sun or another planet. And my take on that is they say that most solar systems have two suns, or all solar systems have two suns. And I don't know how true that is, but that's a thing. But if there were a Nibiru, if there were some sort of a massive calamity coming that was going to kill people, I know that they wouldn't tell me. I know that. They would not tell me. The asteroids, they're not going to tell me. Nibiru's coming, it's going to cause a calamity. Nope, they need me to slave. They need me to go to work, pay my taxes, or sit at home and wait on them and conform. So they're not going to tell me. So they're not worried about my sniffles. They're not worried about a virus. They're not going to tell me. If they told me go outside, it's clear, Gerard, and get your butt outside, then that's where I'll probably have to get me that level 3, that level 3 suit. That's when I know. These people are not on my side. These people have never been on my side. These people are not looking out for me, nor my children, nor yours. Everything they say we have to defy and force them to show proof. They're not always against us in everything, I guess. But anything that they say, you know, all right, I heard you. Now go ahead and prove it. And if you can't prove it and you claim authority over me, then you're going to get defiance from me. What I choose to call God is me. My cipher is divine. I have everything I need. Yes, you do, Jackie. Absolutely. All right, Christ consciousness. That's it, Lori. That's all I'm interested in is Christ consciousness. Right, exactly, because it's in agreement with natural law. And everything else to me is academic. Love everybody. Take care of people. Vibrate positively. Christ is in every one of us after the cross. Yes, I agree with that, Jackie. The Christ consciousness is in everybody. All the Muslims, all the atheists, all the agnostics, everyone. And we can't judge anybody. And to me, the Christ consciousness is just some sort of a quantum physics, scientific, something that we can't handle. Truth. We'll call it truth. And whatever people want to call it, I'm fine with. But whatever the energy, avatar, whatever it is, it's in everybody. And we got no right to judge anybody for how they behave on a planet. We're all given bad behavior at birth. Stop judging each other. That's what we got to do. Good morning, Sandy. Let me get down. All right. Let's build homes for each other. Tribes did this before, even today in some places. Yeah, they still do. Who is that? Leaf Desert. Yeah, that's what they do today. People get together, build them cob houses. And I think there's probably no love like getting together the community and building each other houses. That's what I'm working on. That's what I'm working on. I'm gonna end up with a community somewhere out there. We're gonna buy a plot of land, get some tiny houses, cob houses, build it up. It's gotta be in a place that lets people live free. And that's how I'm gonna retire. But I'm not gonna ride this mess out in the current place that I am. True, too much importance to imagine the social position makes one ignorant. Yeah, there should be no social positions but one, Christine, just one. We don't need, no one's better than anybody else. Everybody should have equal access to everything. And that's how they broke everything, is they put everybody in different classes and they give them access to different resources and they get everybody in conflict with each other. So you get out there and act like fools fighting with each other instead of those who created the system, the architect, the system that we needed to find. Probably the only mask that matters. But to be truthful, Naomi, I mean, they do the classification, if I remember, based in the size of what they're working with. So with coronaviruses, they look at that family of viruses and they say, okay, it's 0.125 microns in size, or like 0.2 to point something else. I've read in another publication. And then they classify it based on that, right? So the best N95 mask, the holes in it are 0.3 microns. So you can't use those. You can't put an employee in a work environment with an N95 mask and a coronavirus, because everybody's going to get it. Like Dude Miskovich said, they were working with it. Everybody in the lab got it, which is why they delete her videos. This is why they got rid of her, because she actually is a professional in the field, being honest. So some masks work with some viruses. So the 0.3 hole in the N95, like the only reason you even got that as a thing, because it's just what they had. Right, it's what they have at the time. But I believe there are larger, there are different family of viruses. It's like 20 some of them that they've uncovered so far. I forgot. If you want, I'll give you a link to my favorite virologist channel. He's phenomenal. He's a professor. I forgot what university. Kentucky, I think it might be Kentucky State University. But there are different classifications of viruses. And so they have different classifications of the equipment you need with those viruses. And so I call bullshizzle, because the people who work with those viruses say, no, when we go to work, we have to have full pressure or pressure level 3 suits. So there could be masks that work with some viruses. To me, Jackie, it was just something they just pulled out their butt. That's what they had at the time. So they say, hey, listen, this is what you do. And it's more of a control psychological thing, right? People will beg to not wear those masks in public. And so what they do is they blame the people who don't wear the masks. So instead of blaming your government who did this to you, you blame a virus or you blame other people, but you don't actually focus on the problem. That's the game that's being played. And the more that they punish people like me, the more that they punish people who want to breathe fresh air, that doesn't believe the government loves them, they'll turn those people against us. And that's the goal. So right now, my goal for the most part is just to make fun of it. Like to show people how ridiculous it is, to show people how unscientific it is, to show people that if they really cared about you, they'd be talking about those real suits, the same thing that they regulate for businesses to have in an environment where you have to work with that. Yep, you can use leaves as well. Y'all talking about composting. Yep, you can use anything that comes from a tree for composting, wood chips, leaves, anything, because a tree has deep roots. It goes down 30, 40, 50 feet, grabs those compounds and things that vegetables at the top can't grow, pulls them up. You take that matter and you put that out on your garden, and that's a natural force process. The trees pull up the nutrients from deep down, drops them on the ground, and the vegetables and the other annual plants thrive upon it. Fungi are little helpers. Yep, Tommy, if it weren't for them, we'd all be dead. Resonate, baby. Yes, absolutely. We are gods. We are gods, Lord, gods and goddesses. You are a great person. I'm not a great person. If I'm a great person, Lori, it means that we are in hell. There's no question about it. I'm a dude. That's all I am. And I'm trying to figure out what the bare minimum is. Like, and to be honest with you on that, Lori, honestly, I think I'm probably still beneath where the human being should be. That's what I think. I think that back when we had permanent cultures and we were a couple million tribes across this planet, I think we vibrated so high that the standard, the bar was up here, the bare minimum. And I'm still trying to get to that bar. And hopefully we'll make it in our lifetime. I believe it was to be good stewards and love one another. Yeah, we got to be good stewards of the planet, of our neighborhood, of each other, and even good stewards to the other political party. Oh. Good stewards to the other race. Oh. Good stewards to the other religion. Oh. We're supposed to be good stewards. Absolutely. All right, I'm almost there. Just live in the now. Love yourself and you will shine. That's all you can do, Lori. Live in the now, love yourself, and you will shine brightly, and try to be a better person today than you were yesterday. That's all you got to do. And just keep going and keep stepping. Put one foot in front of the other, keep going forward. That's our motto when we camp out, go to the parks, beaches, leave it cleaner than it was. Isn't that simple, Barbara? If everybody treated like coming to Earth was like going to the beach, just leave it better than how you found it. Major Tom would be proud of you, Jerry. I hope so, Jimmy. I don't know if that's true. I hope so. He's talking about Papa. That's his name. Brother Mark is in the house. I'm getting down to comments. I'm at the bottom. All right. It was the mass dopamine drip. We are all addicted. Take control and don't try to control. Absolutely, Jimmy. Take control, don't try to control. Which is why Jimmy and I get along. Like, Jimmy and I disagree in a lot of places, but it doesn't really matter. That's my brother. I'm never going to turn against my brother. We're supposed to disagree. He was born in a different place. I was born in a different place. I love him. He loves me. And I know he wants what's right. And we can disagree about what's right. Jimmy is big time protest. I'm not at the moment. But it doesn't really matter. I'm always going to promote Jimmy when he's doing things I think he should be doing. And I think he's doing the things he should be doing. Yeah, I know, but I thought you said you're not for the Black Lives Matter protest of this. I'm for people telling people what needs to be told. I think everybody has a role in this. And it's like what he just said right there. Take control and don't try to control. Right? Let everybody live in their authentic them. The youth in this country see no hope. So right now, they should be telling everybody however they can, and some of them, they don't have microphones, right? Some of them aren't great speakers. Some of them, the only way they can say that to you is burning down the Target. And what you gotta ask yourself is, do you really wanna hear what they gotta say? Doesn't mean I support it. It just means I support them speaking in the only means they know how. For some people, it's joining the skinheads, joining the Ku Klux Klan, burning crosses out on people's yards. Okay, that's the only way you can say, I have no hope, help me. I'm gonna listen to the help me part, and I have no hope. And I'm gonna do anything I can to get you hope. So that's what I think we're supposed to. I think the failures in our society came from us, the adults. We're the ones supposed to be changing the system. We're the ones who actually can see more than they can. We're the ones who lived longer than what they did. It's not our job to pick and choose a side in the nonsense that the kids are born into. It's our side to say, you know what? I understand that the kids who's joining the white nationalists and the kids who's joining Antifa and Black Lives Matter are the same kids born in different places with no hope. Maybe we need to give them hope. That's my perspective. All right. I did in both places, made a strong feeling in my mind that manifested into reality. Be in control of your own thoughts. Yes, Lynn, don't nobody else control your thoughts. Don't let me, don't let anybody else. You have your own thoughts. Please share your thoughts freely with everybody else here on the planet, just how they are. And when something happens, you get a new piece of information that changes how you think. Please change how you think and change your behavior and share that with us. I think humility is a big part of it. We all got to admit that we're wrong in most things, probably. And we keep moving forward. One thing that I'm noticing is the more I admit I'm wrong, the more I see a lot of my friends admit they're wrong. And it's almost like being wrong is getting viral. Imagine what we could do with this planet if people go back to being wrong again. Imagine the politicians might even pick it up. You know, being able to modify. Like, it's okay. You don't have to be right all the time. That's a narcissistic, sociopathic thing that we're given anyway. You're supposed to be wrong. You're supposed to step in poop. You're supposed to fall in the hole. You're supposed to trip down the steps. I almost died. Did I tell y'all that? I slipped down the steps in the rain. I was walking down the deck, and the tip of the deck broke. And I'll be honest with you, I was carrying lunch, and the next thing I knew, I was on the ground. But I was holding the bottom of the rail. Somehow I made it down a whole flight of steps without like hitting my head back, breaking stuff, dislocating stuff. I don't even know what happened. It must have been an angel slid or carried me down the steps. You never promise tomorrow. Do what you can here today, when you can, while you can, for who you can. That's all we're supposed to do. Free the people, and don't get lost in no wild goose chases. When you realize that these people out here trying to get you to chase a goose, trying to get you in a fake struggle or a fuggle, just say, nope, I know what happened to Goose. I know what happened to the human race the last time they was on a wild goose chase for the kings, the lords, and colonized. They picked their masters and fight each other poor people over who the master should be. It didn't happen well for Goose. Don't follow that Goose. That Goose does not make it at the end of the movie. Trust me, I've seen it. All right, there you go. Children need to see their parents admitting where they're wrong. Absolutely, Tommy. We're going to end on Tommy. They do. Which is what I learned as being a father, is when my kids saw that Dad doesn't think he's God, great things happen. When they were younger and I thought I was God, bad things happened. They were trying to be me. They were doing what I was doing. And once you realize as a parent that you just got here first, you're not God, you're not always right, you're not always right with your friends online, you're not always right with your friends, and most times you are mostly wrong. Everything in our society is highly controlled, and reality is not even in the public domain. That's when I saw major changes with my kid. Like, okay, Dad's a dude. Dad's just a dude. That's all he is. He's a dude that got here first. He fell in love with Mom, and we popped out. That's what happens. He doesn't know it all. He doesn't think he knows it all. If I check Dad and I tell Dad something's wrong, then he'll admit it's wrong. Then the world goes, the family goes the way it's supposed to. The house operates in honesty and truth and reality, instead of we got this a new world order. We got this new house order feudal king who runs the house, think he's right about every damn thing. He got Rockefeller medicine. See, in our own little ways, we are new world orders. Our own little psychopathic, control everybody ways. I think all we're supposed to do for kids is just give them everything we got and do everything we can to keep them from falling into traps we fell in. And hopefully they become our upgrade. I think that's our number one job, is to upgrade the next generation, to upgrade our kids and anybody else to be better than us. That's it. That's all I go. Upgrade them and die trying. And this planet goes the way it's supposed to. Anyway, I gotta go. This is Gerard. Love y'all to death. Y'all have a great day now. Bye-bye. Don't get lost in any of the wild goose chases. You ain't gonna catch that damn goose, okay? You're not a predator. You ain't that fast. Y'all have a great day, Gerard. Bye. Who shall save the human race? You. You, only you. You shall save the human race. Stop looking for heroes and villains. You are the hero of this story. You.